do you have anything? Have you seen anything interesting for well, markets? Obviously, if we don't talk about AI and we talk about markets.
The the
uh,
the, the main thing that I've been hearing about the markets is things that I don't normally try and pay too much attention to, and it's almost like these nursery rhymes, or
mm,
if we're up in if we're up in July in a bear market year, we're down in
yeah,
August, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
So I'm hearing a lot of what I think is maybe hopium that there's going to be more bullish upside, but based on moving averages and conversations that we've had and price action and structure that I've gone through a million times, like we're firmly in a bear market, and I believe that there's more downside to come. How much
Mm,
more downside to come? Well, I don't think we're getting down to 10,000. I don't think we're getting down to 16,000. 20,000 now seems too far below. I know that nobody knows, but we had this slow grind up where the market changed with more institutional money. We're having a much slower grind down. If you were geeky enough to go back and measure like top to bottom for all of the cycles, then you'd find that it's almost double the amount that we've retraced so far. So with like history rhyming, everything is rhyming, everything is doing everything it's ever fucking done before with Bitcoin. It is just repeating. It's just we don't know the peaks and the depths of it. So
mm,
if anything, to me right now, we seem to be in a part of the market where we could almost say, well, we know where we are, we're waiting, and we're either waiting for this relief to turn into some bullish upside that nobody
mm.
saw coming, or we're waiting for this downside that's been with us for fucking nearly 12 months,
Yeah, for
you know,
capitulation. Yeah.
to continue. So
Mm,
at the moment, if you wake up in the morning, right, and you say, right, I have the skill set to take any trade, short,
mm-hmm,
long, scalp, whatever, and you looked at the market today,
mm-hmm,
like, well, where are you going to find your trade?
mm-hmm.
Probably going to be more of a knife fight type of trade. Maybe you're looking at ranges all day or ranges forming, or you're trying to think, well, if we're in the bear market, which coins are really accelerated in
Mm.
breaking their, like there's clues and
Yep,
there's breadcrumbs everywhere. But that's if you wake up and you're like, right, I've got all day just to sit
yep,
here and find one trade.
yep.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And
what's
that's the job of a trader. If that's what you do, you know what I mean? Like so that's so important to mention because obviously depends on what you do or what's your strategy, what you're looking for. Uh that's exactly right, right? I used to be that person. You know what I mean? Like I have less time now, so obviously I'm trying to a position, get myself for longer term trades and things like that. Risk the same. Probably you end up uh, making probably more or less money, but it's hard to say because obviously but I used to just grind the work. I probably Todd. I think Todd knows what I'm talking about because I think he's the grinder here. He you know what I mean, like and I could make a lot of money, right? If you have that mindset and that's how I'm actually thinking of setting up a time frame to scalp because obviously the market right now is just so undecisive and yeah, long-term strategies right now is tough, man. Been tough to get positioned properly towards the upside. Too many freaking headlines, across the world happening. One day Trump does something, then everything else changes. Very tough, very tough. But from the scalping perspective, like medium, like very short term to medium trading, I think is wonderful, right? If you still have that mindset. And the problem that I encountered before, I'm still sometimes have it, is trying to do a scalp. and convert that scalp into a long-term trade. That, you know what I mean? Like,
That's
you
it.
have to be very tuned in terms of, okay, this is scalp, or this is long-term, or this is, you have to trade it for what it is. Because, yeah, I got bitten before. You know what I mean? I had a scalp, it works. Oh, fuck, this is going to go to the moon, and then retraces, you take profits or whatever. So you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I think you're definitely right on that, and that depends of the time that you have in the strategy that you run, and yeah. So obviously, from what we're trying to do here on a medium to kind of long term is trying to aim to get those long runs, which we had some good long runs, but it's been tough, man. It's been volatile as um and I, like I said on Friday, I don't see anything happening. I don't like. I'm The good news is that we still in profit of the trades on these fucking horrible markets, which is good, right? But then the
Mm.
problem is, at some point, everything is gonna turn. I got the feeling that we're very close to it, but it's a feeling. It's nothing data related. It's nothing, you know what I mean? Like, I agree with you in terms of, I try to stay away from those things. If it goes down on June and then, July could come up,
The
maybe.
nursery rhymes.
You know what I mean? If this, then because yeah, the only thing that I can think that I can see is how markets, and we win over, and we can see it over and over again of what we do here. Or, like how
Mm.
market, like, are they buyers now? If they are, great. If they're not, great. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the only that's the only thing that I keep um finding edges. How to know if we are have if we do have buyers. Technically, that's the, if you I think I'm okay with it. I'm not I'm amazing to it,
Mm.
but I think if you tune your skills, that's the best skills that you can think of. How to identify where buyers are at a level. You know what I mean? Think about it from the perspective. Market is an auction machine. Every second, this buyers, there's sellers, buys, sells, there's an auction, right? And if
Mhm.
you go to an auction, then you get emotions, you get all that sort of stuff, but this happens at a fraction of a second. So if you're able to identify where the buyers are, right, you just go with the buyers or go with the sellers. It sounds simple, but it's not that simple, right? But that's the skill that I keep tuning, can I keep improving? How do I identify that I'm biased? And if I identify those bias there, how how I'm going to position myself, or how I'm going to take this trade when the buyers are there or when the sellers are there.
Now,
That's in a nutshell. Yeah.
taking what you said then, right, and for once talking sensibly. So I've been having the same chat with AI that you've effectively just laid out there. I started with the AI. I said to it, look, you're a math machine. You don't get tired. Regimes change. I want you to change with regimes. So that was the first kind of instruction that I gave it in what you could call like a context harnessing sort of effort.
Mm,
And then I went and got your open interest map, right? And oh my goodness, to try and get a calculation for CVD without paying for it, I found really, really, really difficult, right? So I
mm-hmm,
ended up paying 29 bucks a month for the hobbyist on CoinGlass.
mm,
And I jammed all that into Claude. And then what I did is I went and verified every instrument for myself by saying to Claude, right, let's back test every instrument. Let's strip down, like, what does it actually mean, if you know what I mean? So we
yeah.
found out what they were for, right? Because you get 80 endpoints with that hobbyist thing, right? So
Yep.
we immediately just dismissed like 60 of them as,
Yep.
whatever. So effectively now I have Claude um, thinking about what season it is, seasonality. So, what would be the best type of shorts? And I mentioned that earlier, ones that have found their broken their lows, unrealized
Yeah.
arbitrary,
Market
right?
structure. Yep.
Market structure, if you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. And then I said to it, take that information and cross-reference it with the rigorous fucking OI map that we have created.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to do with AI is put these big bits of the
Yeah.
100x Coin Club together. I'm not suggesting I've cracked it or anything like that. But
Yep.
basically, what you said, that's what I'm trying to Frankenstein together. But
Got it.
I can't outsource the decisions. I need to be
No.
clear on that.
And you'll find that it gets, because obviously I've been doing that. I've been trying to get that. You talk about a big war, a big word that's called regime.
That's it.
Okay,
Regime.
regime.
Mm.
That is a fact. It's like talking about religion, politics. Is a different definition for everybody, man. Like, what the fuck is regime change? You know what I mean? Like in the first place. And if you just talk to Claude, is that the regime? It can, I can show you so many definitions that Claude or any
Mm.
AI that I use state. So it's important to. That's why it's important to understand the concepts behind it, so you can
Mm.
actually just, for instance, if you understand the concept of CVD and how it's calculated, is instead of, we can make it next week if you want. I can show you how to get the data for free, right? And calculate it with Claude. I do that, right? And with
Because
any
I mean, it
AI,
could be calculated, right? But Claude was saying that it couldn't get what it needed to form
because
the
he
calculation outside of the. You're a
no,
dick.
it's free. It's free, man. It's free. It's just
I,
obviously
I need to just take Claude in the other room and fucking knock him
yeah, man.
around a bit.
Maybe you need to use Fable, no? You need to change
Eh?
so, but it's one of those things, right? Relying on an AI. AI is a tool, in my view, is a tool to enhance your knowledge sometimes. But the problem with AI is it can throw you in so many different directions, right? And all of a sudden you lost track of where you were. Especially me with like in my ADHD just fucking goes sometimes up forward because you go fucking like all over the place, right? So anyway, it's an amazing tool. But then obviously, I'm still building a very interesting thing that at some point maybe I'll show.
Oh,
I'll
this is
show.
like when Doc
Um,
Brown reveals the time machine.
that's gonna be fucking interesting. But obviously, there is a lot of work in terms of how to use it effectively, right? So yeah, all right. I have some questions. Yeah, Todd. Yeah, Pith. I did talk about Pith. It looks interesting. It's in my. I'm gonna talk about it today. Um, Someone asked me if I'm a buyer, I'm a seller. Right. All right. I'm both in a way, right? Long term, I'm still believing crypto, Bitcoin. Crypto, I still believe is the future. Is the it is in terms of technology, in terms of what it does. It has changed everything. Like agents will be able to use it. You know what I mean? Like crypto is the future. Which ones are going to be the future of finance or the future of the world? Who the fuck knows, right? So that's kind of the in a nutshell, right? Like this is and I don't know if you were around probably, I don't know, 2 years ago when I was talking with Scott and yourself. I believe crypto is going to be the next stock. S&P 500, all that sort of stuff. Is the easiest way for companies to get funded. There's no bullshit around round A, round B, round C, but that comes with a lot of scams as well. You know what I mean? So the only difference is that obviously that if if a company goes public on the S&P 500, you do have some regulations that you have to do. With crypto is pretty much open, but the technology is there. So in my view, I think long term, I don't see a need for S&P 500 for markets because everything is going to be handled by the blockchains, right? Which blockchain is going to be? Who knows? You know what I mean? I'm going to talk about one today that is interesting, but yeah, like long term, that's why I still keep buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still sort of, you know, you call it the index, like the basis, like the basis of everything. So I'm still buying that long term. I keep buying it every single week, right? So yeah, that's basically, yeah, just to
Oh,
to answer that question. Brad, yeah, Hypertrain. Hypertrain is the product, man. Is the one that we've the the automated system on chain that we are doing in the background. So yeah, excited. Hopefully, it's working. The people, all quants developers are working hard to get that finished. All right, so all right, okay, let's jump into it. Um, So, do you see anything? Let me go through. I don't have anything. I have a few interesting things to watch for, but everything from Friday, like from Friday, nothing really changes much. That's my that's my scalping setup, by the way. At some point, I'm gonna show you scalping. At some point, but it gets profitable, but you have to be on the screen all day, man. Like all freaking day. Anyway, let's jump into what I'm seeing. All right. You guys see my screen now?
Yes, we do.
All right. We were here last week, right? Last week, very good upside. And this week, I sort of been talking about this level here, $65,000 level that it needs to break. So it's been ranging, right? Like we had this drop that it was immediately bought. I got excited there, but then obviously around here, around Thursday or Friday, was when Trump again, start changing things and the conflict start changing again. So the interesting thing from that perspective is even though the conflict changed, I would have imagined that we would have a worse reaction of it. You know what I mean? Like it's still the conflict is still kind of on, right? There was some stuff happening over the weekend, things like that, but the market hasn't actually dropped. So that makes me wonder. That I thought that it was going to react a little bit more, but obviously now because they got so many, you know, markets now sort of like, okay, I'm not reacting to this news any longer. That's basically what I'm seeing. Obviously, I could be completely wrong. So with that being said, the S&P 500, right, is kind of in the best pick, right? We did talk about these lows and how far this thing could pull back. The maximum they pulled back it was in June, and then we sort of hanging in there. The VIX is actually not doing its VIX is down, so I think that there's still sustainability on the market, and I don't know how it's going to open because obviously we did have some development, some stuff happening over the weekend with the conflict, but yeah, that's kind of where I am. Markets they're not reacting to the news as they did before, which is interesting, right? So obviously that's kind of the first observation that I'm watching. Interesting enough, IBIT, which is the IBIT is looking great for this breakout of this range, right? And as you guys know, IBIT is my first gauge to see if institutions are buying Bitcoin, right? This is a level that institutions or big money is actually flowing into the market. So according to this, right, it looks like we could see a little bit of buying power here. What's the downside? What I don't like is when I look at Bitcoin. Let's see. I'm still not seeing the CVD playing out. So I was on Friday, right? I was telling you guys that there was no strength here yet. Okay. And when we don't have any strength, we could we could probably suggest that who's driving the market at perps trades. And perps usually tend to, you know, go up and liquidate the shorts, go down, liquidate the longs. You get all this behavior of choppiness around ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. Okay. So if you're able to read when we are in perps, that's a great opportunity to scalp the market up and down, give or take, right? So, but and that's sort of what I'm saying here. Unless we see a massive, not massive, or starts going, our CVD start going through, start seeing a little bit of strength here, then that will sort of start liquidating the shorts if they're shorts here. But let's try to figure out if the positioning, if people are positioning on longs and shorts. So how would you sort of know that? So first of all, and this is just the readout, like this is the skill that I was telling you guys, that is kind of how you interpret this, because it's not a real sort of definition. In a way, it's not always the same definition. You just have to understand how open interest works, how liquidations work, and how CVD. Those are the main things that I look uh, always, because that drives the market. That tells you a story. That tells you who's driving what, right? CVD, Jeremy, is the cumulative delta. It's cumulative volume delta. Okay, what that means, and that's on the spot side. Okay, what that means is the amount of buyers. The delta, whenever you see delta and in finance, is the difference. It's basically the difference between one value between the other value. What delta volume is the difference between the volume of buyers versus the volume of sellers, and basically creates a candlestick, right, of the volume. This is the volume here, right? But this volume here relates to the pair futures. This volume here relates to the spot, right? To the spot coin, which is a different market. Like is whatever is the market that actually drives all these perpetual futures, right? So this is the volume that we see in here for people that bought Bitcoin, and in essence, right? People that actually are buying and holding Bitcoin, perhaps for long term, short term, who the fuck knows? But that's basically the definition of CVD volume of spot. Make sure that this is on a spot, right? If it's not on the spot, you're gonna see the CVD volume of this market, which is kind of useless. It's basically better off to use the open interest, and so that's basically what it means. Okay, so essentially, no, I don't use the footprints in TradingView yet. It's an interesting stuff. I like using this. Why I like using Velo instead of TradingView? If TradingView had this, right, an aggregated level, and this is another one that Velo has that TradingView doesn't. Okay, so if you click here, you could aggregate that. This is the aggregate of the spot. There's another difference as well between this indicator and a regular one. This is the aggregation of Binance, Coinbase, Bybit, OKX, right? Which are the major coins. So that's you could probably do something like this in TradingView, but by default they don't have it, right? You could definitely code it. I think I should anyway. Never mind. Coming back to this, so that's basically the whole thing. That it's an aggregation of all the spot market on those major exchanges. So it's a really good indication of if they're buyers, because one important thing, right? Think of, and this is edge for you guys. Coinbase, like if you take everything out of this, the most important one to watch is Coinbase on the spot side. Why? A lot of the ETFs, right? A lot of the ETFs and institutional money goes through Coinbase on buying spot, right? Usually, right? They don't use Bybit, they don't use OKX, they fucking use Coinbase. Okay, so this is the most important one to watch, right? If you do it on TradingView per se, right? Because that's what we're tracking. We're tracking if institutions or big buyers are buying now. Okay, so There are more advanced tools. I can show you other advanced tools that they are amazing, but they're going to be very complex to grasp. Unless you're doing scalping, it's not really efficient to watch. And this is sort of the things that I use to actually get positions sort of medium to long term. Now, um, where are we? Where were we? Okay, so the open interest, right? So now with open interest, we're trying to figure out are they longs or shorts. So what I first noticed here, we did have a liquidations to the upside. So this is a mechanical, whenever it's a liquidation to the upside, that means all the shorts are getting liquidated, right? And that's why you see open interest start rising, bang, right? But then here is when things stop, right? It's like this fight, there's not really clear view is new shorts or new open being open. I don't see it clear. Sometimes I see it really clear. I don't know if you've seen any videos before, and I definitely sometimes see when the shorts are opening, when longs are opening. So for instance, right here, right, right here, right in this peak, right? You can start see like this candle right here. You can actually see the broken structure. You can actually open interest is going up, and you can actually see delta candle going up. This is a short thing waiting to happen. Very profitable on the scalping side of things, right? It's clear as man. Like but then obviously you need to be there. You need to be at that particular half an hour to actually take advantage of this, right? So this is kind of the stuff that you could use, right, on your cards. So right now, let's see what is happening live right now. So you start seeing open interest rising, maybe prices is going up, right? It's holding that value. So perhaps this value right here, and we just had liquidations, right? We just have long liquidations. So probably we have a lot of longs piling up here, right? And if we've seen that we have a value here, we start going in liquidations, then probably that's the mechanical liquidation side of things. So what that tells me is that perhaps one, we don't have any strength at here. We might see a little bit of choppiness, but maybe we're going to retest the lows of probably here again, of here again. Why? Probably, and this is just probably I need more data to see that, but this is just kind of my first reaction. Why? I don't see any strength, man. I don't see still any strength whatsoever. Big time frames, small time frames on the side things. So I'm sort of conflicted in a way. Once in the higher term, I see that IBIT still flowing towards that breakout, right? But if I actually see the Bitcoin chart and Bitcoin strength, I don't see anything else. So yeah, there's days that I don't see any, and if I don't see anything, I just don't know. You know what I mean? What I want to see, then I go into what I want to see. So what I want to see, first of all, in order to get, I want to see this starts somehow increasing, right? I don't know which way, but I want to see that we have sustainability of CBD coming through, right? Maybe we're going to see a little bit more liquidation. So if you see this holding right here, and then you see liquidations towards the downside, right? This is a perp driven market, therefore that's why I'm expecting, because a perp driven market, and then perhaps we could do something like this, right? So that's something that I will be paying close attention. Do I want to short here? Let's see. Let's see if we want to short there. So if I open here, all right. Okay. Conflicted again. Why? Let me tell you why. So let me tell you, what is it? 500 reasons why. Okay. We were talking about over the week about this. This is the daily, and this is the structure of the trend of the daily. So we have sort of like a downward structure, right? So we have this is the highs of this structure. We have lower highs, right? So this is the lows. We have lower lows right here, right? And we are in this level here, right? This could be seen as two things right now: a higher low or a higher high. Why? And why I'm very peculiar about this, because obviously, yes, the high is actually a little bit lower than this one. So that indicates selling opportunity here. But the only one that I don't like is this candle right here. And this candle was the one that happened on Friday, that it actually closed. It's trying to break that structure all along right here. Okay. So that's why I don't have a bias right now. This could be the way, to be honest. I'm not like, yes, last week I was more towards the upside, right? Today I'm don't know. I need to wait a little bit to see how the market reacts, how the market open, how the market digests the the news about what happened over the weekend and then and so forth, right? So yeah, that's it. If I look at Ethereum, everything is pretty much doing exactly the same thing. However, Ethereum is actually not bad, right? It's looking okay from that perspective. If we have a look at Ethereum on the CBD aspect, still a lot of buyers at that level. Still buyers at 1800, not a lot, but main buying power came around here. This is what the main power came through, right? So I could probably see that level. That's the level that I want to hold right here. Give it a take, right? That's the level. That's the important level from the CVD perspective, right? There is another big one here, right? That happened. So let me just right there. Okay, so that could be a range to look for. But it looks interesting. So man, yeah, don't know. Don't know. That's why we're still positioned, but I'm still open for both directions, to be honest. So with that being said, how that's going to affect our position. So let's go through it. So WorldCoin, I was going to add more. I almost say I almost added more yesterday on this. That's the one that I wanted to is doing great. This is the only one that is actually doing really good in the markets, to be honest. This one is an interesting to add more. I'm still not convinced. Our lead trade is actually doing great, right? So I'm still holding lead. XPL is the one that is giving me the so XPL still first trade is off a break even, give or take, and this one is on a loss, right? So either we hold it, but if we do have Bitcoin breaking, there is a good chance that XPL is going to wake up on these values here. It's holding pretty well, values that we had, but it depends of what Bitcoin decides to do. In terms of things that I'm watching, Pyth. I am watching Pyth. I think Pyth does have an interesting. You can actually see the structures that's playing out right here, right? This is on a daily, right? So there is a good chance that Pyth could actually at least retest these highs right there. So a cool trade could be. But the problem with Pyth is this one is volatile, very volatile. Okay. So that's an interesting one that I'm watching. I'm watching Nia, of course, still hasn't done anything. I'm watching Gram. I did talk about Gram. Gram is the same ton coin, but they rebranded. And of course, VVV. Look at this. We're getting closer to this area right here. So this area right here is I'm expecting to see something like this. I'm kind of wanted to open Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm actually tempted to open up position spot right now. But finally it's getting to where it's getting. Okay. The problem with this one is if we have a dump on Bitcoin, like I think a lot of things is going to get hit. So the fact that we already sort of exposed, probably a good idea is to take some profits on lit and then expose ourselves on something else. But then yeah, and yeah, Ondo is still I didn't take this straight. Give me 1 second. Yeah, Ondo still's on the card right there. So it's a lot of things that are waiting, kind of, right? A lot of things waiting. Um, so yeah, that's basically what I have for today, guys. Unfortunately, not much. Sui, let's have a look at Sui. Yeah, Sui's not doing anything. Sui, from the price action perspective, is yeah, not doing much. Not doing like it's pretty much everything is so correlated. You can actually see that pretty much all charts are basically the same, which it makes it challenging when things comes back, right? Because everything is going to pump at the same time. Which one is going to pump faster? Who knows? That's the one that we're trying to get into it, right? But yeah, still like Sui long term, very good blockchain. If you do have sport, I think it's okay in terms of perps. I'm still not getting positioned. Something that I wanna show you guys today. I don't know if you're aware. So Robinhood, right? Robinhood now has its own blockchain. Okay, this is a little bit significant in a way because obviously Robinhood is big on I don't know. I just want to ask you, how many of you guys have used Robinhood in the past to buy stocks or buy anything? I'm just wondering because it's big. I know it's big in the US. So there you go. That's yeah, I know. Yeah. All right. So, like in terms of like 1, 2, 3, that's a sample. That's a significant sample of people that use Robinhood. Why Robinhood? Robinhood makes it very simple for uh, retail traders to buy whatever. Okay, period. All right, and that's easy. Very simple. It's very simple. You just buy a stock, or it doesn't require you to open a fucking broker account or anything. Nothing. All right. Why this is significant? Because it provides a lot of volume. Okay. And now they created its own blockchain, which you can track on Olama, on DeFi Olama, DeFi Llama, right? So in DeFi Llama, you can actually go through every single change and every single chain and see how much volume is producing. Okay. So I'm quite interested in this because I know they can drive volume. They know how like their position. People use their app. It's just a simple click to actually buy whatever, right? With that being said, the fact that now they do have their own chain, I'm just tracking this and the TVL, which is the log value, the volume is actually growing. It keeps growing, it keeps growing. And this sort of started on last week. So I've been tracking this from last week and it's actually going really, really well. So where are the beneficiaries? So what can we do with this information? So the first one is that they are opening in conjunction with DYDX. All the perp trading that they're going to do is going to be through another fucking on DeFi exchange, say like Hype, right? They open it, it's called Arcus, right? So you can trade tokenized stocks, you can trade the same thing as Hype, right? But they're doing it with DYDX. So DYDX was dead in a way, but now they're doing this partnership, DYDX, very good technology, but I don't know, not they, it didn't pick up. So you can actually trade through DYDX. Okay. So that's the first thing. I'm going to be paying close attention to the YDX price, right? Even though it's been very volatile and it's been very scammy. But the fact, yeah, very scammy. This is when news came along. Now, huge sell-off, lower volume. We got restricted, so that's the first thing, right? Exactly, Todd. That's the next one that I was going to talk about, right? The regulations of Robinhood now, so it's like a window for people to trade every single stuff through their app, right? In a way. Another interesting thing about this is if you go to Dexcrina, you pick Robinhood chain. Oh fuck, man, it's a lot of shit now opening, like all meme coins, stupid stuff, but they are making money. Okay, so in a way, think about it from the perspective that non-crypto native people. Oh, I don't know if you guys have bought meme coins through Dexcrina before, right? And obviously, you need to have your crypto wallet, Phantom or whatever. You need to buy their own chain. It gets complex from that perspective. Now, if you use Robinhood, you could buy meme coins through their app. Very simple, very easy, very gamble-like attention, but it's going to create volume. So it's been thousands of meme coins launched here. Obviously, this is as risky as it gets, but it could be an opportunity, to explore these meme coins on their chain. You know what I mean? Like it's huge. It's been massive amount. Or obviously, I wouldn't put a lot of money on this, but it could be opportunities here. But it just takes a lot of time to actually discover them. All right. So I just want to put these ones there and what's the behind rationale or what could happen with Robinhood, Arcos, all this stuff that's providing volume. I'm not good at meme coins, to be honest. I suck at it. So this could be an interesting, but it could be an interesting thing to look for if you do have time. I might look into it. There's definitely some stuff that you could capitalize on, but that's kind of where I'm at the moment. So this is the one that I wanted to share with you guys in terms of what's happening with Robinhood, what the opportunities could look like, and that could be interesting, from the volume perspective. So besides that, I have nothing else for you guys unless you do have any questions.
Well, I've lost the. Where has it gone? There it is. No, that's a great call, Maurizio. Thank you very much. I guess
Jim, I know. Me too, man. That's my day every single day.
yeah, yeah.
Man.
If it's dull like this, Maurizio, then we can get more of this Maurizio teaching hat on. I personally very much enjoy it, and I know the crowd always enjoys learning. I mean, we can have a quick vote now before we go, right? Just be honest, be brutal. When the market's quiet like this, would you like to have a shorter meeting? Just turn up 15 minutes, let's fuck this off, if you know what I mean. Or should we do within the time frame, Maurizio do a bit more teaching? Not like fucking work the man to the bone, if you know what I mean, just on the right type of thing, because it's too easy for me to be greedy and be like, yeah, Maurizio, teach, teach, teach. So um
And also, if you want, obviously, teaching what type of stuff do you want to learn, right? So I can take you in whatever direction I know, or probably things that you want to learn. I'm not good at. So, for instance, meme, I'm not really good at meme picking, to be honest. Scalping, I know. I've been thinking about getting back into it at least for the next 2 months. But it's All right. Scalping could be an opportunity. I know people are interested in scalping. So maybe. All right. We'll
Nice.
we'll we'll
All
consider
right
it.
then.
Definitely. All right, guys.
Thank you, Mauricio. Thank you, everyone.
There you
Ta-ra.
go, Todd. Yeah.